Hello, everyone. This is Tracy Caulfield with the Cushing Chamber of Commerce, and we are here today with Darren Hamilton, and he is running for the U.S. representative seat in the June 18th primary election. Hello, Mr. Hamilton. How are you today?
Hi, Tracy. Very well. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's just dive right in. Tell us about you. Tell us about yourself and your family, and let's get to know you a little bit.
Okay. Darren Hamilton. I have a home in Fort Supply. My dad lives in Enid, so I moved to Fort Supply in 2021. It was basically due to a lack of freedom in other places due to all the lockdowns and the COVID scare and all that other stuff, as well as concern for my basic constitutional rights, such as the Second Amendment. I picked Fort Supply because it was a nice, quiet place, not a lot of folks around there, and still had what I needed to do some work and go back and forth to where I need to, because I do travel a lot for work. And like I said, my dad's in Enid, so I visit him quite a bit as well. I have two kids, two girls, 13 and 15. I've talked about them a little bit in some of my talks, and there was some questions about some stuff that they were into, and I just want to say they love K-pop.
Right. Yeah. Hey, who doesn't? K-pop is awesome. And oh my goodness, you must have your hands full. Bless your heart. I have one boy and I two girls. No, 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 not for this moment.
They are from a previous marriage. I had a divorce in 2015, and there's a lot of sad stuff that goes with that. But the biggest thing to me, and the most important thing, was I was present in their life and was there for them as much as I could be.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about why you decided to run for the U.S. representative seat.
Yeah, so I moved to Fort Supply, and I'm thinking, great, this is one of the reddest districts, reddest states in the country. My rights will be protected. I don't have to worry about it anymore, because honestly, that's what happens to folks when they're in other places and they see, local legislatures and stuff putting up bills to ban assault weapons, or to tell you that you need to accept trans social issues and stuff like that. And it's all really about freedom. And so when I got here, I started trying to communicate with my representative, and I didn't get a response, and that frustrated me. And specifically, it was around who is going to be elected Speaker of the House, because they provide so much direction, especially when the Republicans are in a majority in the House, and the Speaker of the House provides basically the leadership to get things accomplished. And all I saw was the same people being put up to vote for the speakership. And we know what happened with McCarthy, and now we see Johnson kind of doing the same thing. It always seems like it's DC centric, DC focused. Seems like they are, what do I want to say? They are the heart of our country, and that's really not the truth. It's us out here in CD3 that really are the heart of the country. I mean, Cushing, you are the nerve network of oil transport. It's huge, massive energy importance. And I just didn't see that representation there. And I basically said, well, gosh, if you're not going to listen, I'm going to primary you.
Absolutely. Well, what are some of the other like some of your key campaign issues, some things that it concerns you that you would like to either see changed or that you would like to initiate if elected?
The funny thing is, when you go to Congress, especially as a freshman, and this is one of the arguments for a long-term incumbent, is how much seniority they have and how much power they have to wield in Washington, D.C. None of that means very much if they're not doing, representing their district in using that power. out in Woodward and Fort Supply and a lot of the rural towns out in no man's land, you know, you see things still declining. There's not much prosperity. I know there's a lot of oil producers out there, and regulations are tying them down. They can't produce as much as they'd like to, as well as the ranchers and farmers who are almost constantly under assault by, you know, various environmental groups for trying to turn back land to its natural habitat, and limiting their production because of we'll call it cow farts, you know, polluting. It's ridiculous. So those are some of my concerns from the perspective of the district. And overall, I have 3 campaign platforms that I like to talk about when I go places. You know, the first one is freedom. Freedom is the basis of why our country was formed. Freedom is why our founding fathers rebelled from, you know, England. They had the king to deal with. Right now, we pretty much have almost the same issue in Washington, D.C. We have what I call political aristocrats. You know, these political aristocrats are there for decades, and they tell us they're doing a good job, and it's just so hard to cooperate and work with each other. And now there's people believing all the time saying, oh, it's dysfunctional, it's not working. If it's not working, you have to break it down and try and fix it. You don't just abandon it. And if it's not working, you can't just keep working with the other people that are making it not work. Yeah, meaning the Democrats, basically, is what I'm saying. So that's the first piece of the platform, freedom. The second is security. We can't have that freedom without our security, and that security is provided through our federal government. The federal government's first purpose in our country is to defend our sovereign borders. We don't see that. The southern border is open. We have tons of criminals going across. We don't know who's coming across. It could be disease. There's child trafficking. There's terrorists. It's out of control, and our federal government just seems to think that's okay. You know, the current Republicans in the House tried to impeach Mayorkas, the head of DHS, who's supposed to be in charge of the border control, but it just didn't happen. And the Senate didn't support it either. So I don't know if there has to be better arguments to help people understand the problems that are going on, because anytime there's all these folks coming across the border, illegal aliens, whatever, and there's crime associated with it, those are creating, you know, expenses and taxing our local law enforcement that are supposed to protect us, and they can't do it with the budgets they have. And that's a big problem for our security. The other part of the security, of course, is our national military and being strong and not focusing on diversity and equity and inclusion. It's not about that. It's about defeating our enemies. And we've got some enemies going on in the world, you know, China and Russia, as well as Iran and North Korea. Those people all want to be the world dominant power, and they see us as weak. And if we allow that weakness to continue on, then eventually there will be a fight. And I don't know if a lot of people feel very secure that our military is up to that task, as terrible as it is. So, and if you want me to keep going, you're welcome to speak up at any time. I don't mind being interrupted. The last point of my campaign is prosperity. And prosperity, I believe, can only really be achieved if we get inflation under control, because that's out of control. You know, government spending is the whole reason why bread has gone up twice as much as it was 10 years ago. It's ridiculous. My home insurance is going up a ridiculous amount that makes my house payments more than I budgeted for. I could tell you that much. So I know that if it's hurting me, it's going to hurt way more people, a lot more. So, you know, we've got to fix our budget. You know, we have almost 800 trillion in interest alone on our federal deficit. 800 trillion. The farm bill itself that was being proposed, it was, you know, had a continuing resolution, and they've got to fight it out in October, November timeframe, because that's when it runs out again. So there'll be another crisis management deal going on because, our district's very agricultural. In any case, gosh, I'm trying to find my point where I was at. The national debt is crushing us. And if we don't cut government spending, then we're going to go bankrupt. We're going to collapse financially. And that will hurt everyone. It will not only hurt us, it'll hurt the rest of the world too, because, without America there standing up for freedom, there's a lot of despots out there that'll go hog wild and probably attack other countries from South America to Africa, all the way to, current problems like in Ukraine. And one more point I want to make on Ukraine. We've been sending a lot of money there, and we can't do that because we can't afford it. We can't even afford the weapons that we're sending there because we're depleting our own resources to defend our country. So this is a part of the problem that has to be fixed. And I'll finish up here. Just one quick second. The rest of that prosperity, like I said, we've got to reduce our spending. We've got to reduce the federal government because, like I said, it's a bureaucratic mess. Congress is responsible for monitoring and controlling the administrative state. That they've created all these agencies to exist. It's done in laws. They can just as easily take away those organizations, especially if they're not producing things for the people. I don't consider managing the people as helping the people, because that's what it's come to. That's what bureaucracies do. They manage the people. So we've got to fix the administrative state to where it serves the people again, greatly reducing it, because like I said, the first job of our federal government is to protect us, and they're not even doing that. So why should we keep sending our tax dollars there for all the lavish dinners and lobbyists and all the other great stuff? Because Washington, D.C. is one of the richest areas in our country, if not the richest. And I'll stop there so you can ask some more questions.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. You pretty much took care of my questions. That's exactly the kind of information, what you stand for, those are the kind of things that we're trying to get out to our community and surrounding areas to learn more about you. And again, you are Darren Hamilton, and you are a Republican on the June 18th primary election for the U.S. representative seat. And your candidate, of course, you're new on the scene. Have you ran before for a seat?
No.
No.
And I don't think I talked about my background is in my job currently, and I still am employed. I've been campaigning on my days off. I had a lot of accumulated time off because I've been with my company for more than 23 years. So, it's in satellite technology, defense and communications. And like I said, I do travel a lot for work. But that's one of the things that I would bring to Congress is an eye on technology, because with artificial intelligence, quantum computing, a lot of those things, we already have issues with our privacy with cell phones, and not only fighting to, sort of get the .coms off our backs, recording everything. Don't you love it when you're talking to your friend about, I don't know, this new dress at a shop, and all of a sudden you have ads for that dress?
Yes.
How is that possible? They're not supposed to be able to spy on us, but they do. They call it metadata. This is the same metadata that the FBI and the CIA and all those other alphabet agencies like to collect to make sure, I don't know, that we're doing what we're supposed to do as a citizen. That's not how it works. They're supposed to serve us and protect us. They're not supposed to spy on us unless we have probable cause. Metadata is not probable cause.
That's interesting. So is there anything else that you would like the public to know about you?
Well, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about Cushing, because,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're with the Chamber of Commerce. I'm curious, since the Biden administration took over, how was it during the Trump administration and the Obama administration before that?
Um, well, we call our economy a roller coaster ride because it's all over the place. We are well prepared for that. Our seasoned businesses are prepared for it. They know that the bottom could drop out at any moment. The cost of gas could skyrocket. That if our pipelines are not holding much at their terminals, that we are going to plummet. Pardon?
Or you're not getting new pipelines.
Right. Or we're not drilling. That those things are huge concerns of ours, and we're constantly holding our breath. And in the Biden administration, we know that there's going to be way less drilling. We know that there's going to be way less, that we're going to be bottoming out, or like right now, of course, everything is a struggle. It isn't sunshine and roses here, even though, price per barrel is relatively high. Things look good, but business is slow. It's, yeah, every election year is always hold your breath and let's see what happens. Save your pennies. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at. We were thankful for the Trump administration on getting some of the ball rolling a little bit on the Keystone pipeline for us. That helped get us connected finally. Yeah, I mean, I could go on forever, but right now, Cushing is holding strong. For the last 2 years, we've been doing our own. Even though there has been low drilling, and our pipeline companies have been kind of fluctuating on their price per barrel and how much they're holding and things like that. They've been holding steady for the most part. And a lot of people have become entrepreneurs. They've decided either to, we'll just take it into our own hands. Let's figure this out and take it into our own hands. We'll keep our oil and gas job or whatever, and then we'll open a small business, or we'll start a landscaping business out of our home, or we've got a lot of that. We've got a lot of home-based businesses, and just really small storefront businesses in the last 2 years that have popped up. Yeah, for sure.
Makes America great right there.
Yes, absolutely. Amen. That's what we love about it.
How much more time do we have?
Probably about 3 minutes.
Okay. So going back to the energy, another thing I want to bring up is all the windmill and solar energy. My personal opinion is it's not mature enough to have a good enough return on investment. We still have power shortages. We have problems in the winter when there's cloud cover. Obviously, the solar panels don't work. So that goes back to the importance of oil and gas and the clean coal power to keep us going. We can't, all of a sudden change to green energy and expect that we're going to be able to meet our supply, because our supply for energy is still going up. So that's another thing that I am conscious of and concerned about in making sure that we don't put too much emphasis on green energy, because it's still too immature and there's not enough, we'll call it power density, generated from those things in order to make it, financially viable as well as environmentally viable, because of the hailstorms that could destroy, solar panels. And I'm sure the windmills can experience some damage from other stuff like that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are hoping that things stay gas around here,
Yeah.
And we always warn people, there is no charging stations here in Cushing, and you would have to travel far to find one, and you need to be aware of that and conscious of that, So we're not ready for that at all.
Mandates for electric vehicles are ridiculous. You can't force people. The government's not supposed to force us to do anything. If it's economically viable or we like it, then, we'll do it. But we can't have the government bearing down on us, creating policies that aren't, that hurt us in the end is really what happens.
Well, Mr. Hamilton, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it so much. And is there anything else you would like to end with?
Just,
No?
you know, tell your friends to get out and vote on June 18. If they haven't already registered, the deadline might be pretty close, because I know a lot of people that went independent because they were frustrated with the Republican Party. In CD3, there are 3 candidates, and there are no Democrat or independents. So this seat will be decided by this primary.
Sure. And just to reiterate that, the deadline to register to vote is May 24th, and we have voter registration forms here at the chamber office, and we will help them fill out their registration forms. Huh?
Get in there quick.
Yes, get in here quick. We will even US mail their voter registration, completed registration forms for them. We'll take it to the post office and get it postmarked for May 24th if it is that day. We also host here at the chamber office an early voting site. We're an early voting site for all of Payne County. Payne County residents, registered residents, can stop by our office on June 13th, 14th, and 15th and take care of that and get your early voting in before the June 18th election date. So yeah, there's so many opportunities, and we need people to get out and vote. We really do, and get out to vote. So, well, thank you, Mr. Hamilton, again, and we wish you the best on June 18th. And thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
You and everyone out there, we need it. Keep our country alive. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.